Everybody, what's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel. Tammy Talks here. So let's go ahead and get into Growing Up Hip Hop. This is season 7, I believe, episode 1. Legacy Will Not Be Lit. If you're brand new to my channel, I do TV show recaps and breakdowns. So if you enjoy that type of content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff there. All right, y'all. So let's start. Let's get into it. This season starts off with Treach going to see Tyrone, and he's working out. I love Tyrone. I wish he had more of a storyline. I wish we got to see like more about his life and all of that type of stuff because I absolutely love him. He's the very least problematic and least annoying person on the show by far. So Treach asks how is TT doing with Sean and the baby. Tyrone said they're doing great. They just moved. They're getting settled into the house. Everything's good. She is still not talking to Egypt, however. So, what we saw last season with them having a little kumbaya that Tahira's mother set up really kind of fell on deaf ears. We knew nothing was going to really change with them because they were both super stuck in their ways about what really happened, who was in the wrong. Neither side really wanting to take accountability. So Tyrone is like, speaking of Egypt, though, and he brings up the issue where Egypt and Sam got into a physical altercation. So Sam got arrested. They didn't tell Treach the full story. So Tyrone said that what he heard is that Sam's friend was getting jumped. Sam jumped in. Egypt saw Sam fighting, so Egypt jumped into the fight. Treach is over it, completely over it. Treach's wife Cicely, who seems to have joined the cast because she was in 2 scenes today, she's saying that what Egypt told her was a complete different story. So what would happen is whenever Egypt has to tell her father something, she calls her stepmother, tells Cicely, and then Cicely takes it and kind of breaks it down, numbs it down a little bit so that she can go and tell Treach about it. Treach is not pleased. No man wants to hear that their daughter is out fighting because their boyfriend is fighting. Like, silly. Egypt clearly has not grown up. Egypt is still a child trying to pretend that she's a woman playing house. It's ridiculous, like how much we have seen her change, how we've seen her career, which looked like she was going to have a decent singing career, how it's just non existent now because she's got so all consumed up with Sam, who we all know is using her. But Egypt will find out one day, hopefully before it's not too late. So then we see Lil Twist. Twist is in the studio. He has some music playing, and Mack Maine goes to see him. Mack Maine is the president of Cash Money. Twist is signed to Cash Money, or Young Money at least. So Twist tells him that he has good news and bad news. The good news is that he loves you. He loves you, Mack Maine. The bad news is during the pandemic, Twist went to go hang out with his mom, see his mom back in Texas, and he got caught with a gun because he had a gun in the car with him. Texas has very relaxed gun laws. Mack Maine points out only if you're not a felon. Twist is a 2-time felon. Remember, we know one of his felonies came when he took the fall for Bieber when it came to having some drugs, which I'm sure he now regrets because Bieber tossed his ass to the side like it was nothing. So Mack Maine goes and gives him this lecture about how carrying a gun does not make you gangster. Being gangster was out being free and able to make the money the way that you want to make money. When he says that, we're putting all this money up behind you for your project, we're giving you this opportunity, and you're basically just kind of wasting our money now because if you go to jail, we have wasted money now. When you get your third strike, you are in jail. That's it. That is it. So Mack Maine tells him, you're not paying attention or you're not caring about how this is affecting your mom or your nieces and nephews and other family members. Like, you got to grow up. So Twist says, well, I wasn't doing anything to like even get put over. I got to show you how it happened. And Mack Maine tells him, don't make excuses. The cop was doing his job. You know what I mean? He's doing what he was supposed to have been doing. If you're somebody and you're out, you're a 2-time felon, you cannot have a gun. So he just tells him, like, it's the end result that matters. Stop making excuses. hold yourself accountable, grow the hell up. You have too much riding on this, too much depending on this, too many people depending on you to get through this. And it's true. I love Lil Twist, but I feel like Lil Twist should be a lot further than he is now, but he has just made dumb mistake after dumb mistake. But hopefully we see more of Twist this season, and more of him just, being lighthearted and having fun like we've seen in previous seasons. So we switch over to Angela and Vanessa, and they're on like a little yacht on the boat with Cree. I didn't catch the other woman's name. Angela announced that she's moving to Atlanta. We know that she has already moved. It was all over the blogs. So she said she's moving there because there's more of a support system for SJ, who is her son. I think it's great that Angela is making sure that Sutton's family is still very, very involved with that little boy. I think that's absolutely great. That's noble on her part. Like, that's how you're supposed to do things. It's kind of like she's still co-parenting, even though he has, unfortunately passed away. So Vanessa asked her if she has already thought this through, and like, why didn't you tell me about this? Angela said she already bought the house. She thought about it. She seems very, very, very annoyed that Vanessa is even asking her anything about it. But as long as we all been watching this show, we have seen that Angela does not see it for Vanessa. Angela damn near probably don't like Vanessa. Anytime she has to interact with her, it seems forced. She has an attitude with her. She has a tendency to leave Vanessa out of like big decisions. Not saying she has to give Vanessa's approval, but she just don't tell her sister nothing. She didn't tell her she was moving to Miami. So Angela's like, I talked to mommy, I talked to daddy about it. It's already cool, whatever. We know Angela is moving to Atlanta because she's on Real Housewives of Atlanta now. So y'all look out for Angela over there, which I think is crazy because if she can't handle the little petty baby drama they have on on Grown Up Hip Hop, what's she gonna do when Marlo and some of these other women get up in her shit? Come on, Angela, we got to think this through, baby. That ain't the right show for you. So we see Lazy Bone is now on the show. His daughter is actually Sequoia, the girl from last season that kicked up a lot of shit. So he's meeting up with Treach. They talk about how their kids are now grown, but have this like sense of entitlement, and they want to break that from them. They are fortunate enough to have people to tell them what to do with their money, what direction to go in life. They're not struggling like they would be typically, or like they would be typically without their parents' guidance and their parents' money to help guide them. So they talk about Biggie and Pac and all this other type of stuff. And they said that they used to live so reckless, and that Lazy says he has seen so many people die that he values life to a deeper level now. So I guess we're gonna see more of Lazy on the show. We switch over to JoJo and Tanice's house. They now have their son, their rainbow baby, baby Joey. And JoJo is asking how many scoops of formula does he put in the bottle. And Tanice said, this is your second child. On top of that, that is not the first bottle that baby has eaten since he's been home. You should know, JoJo. So she tells him, like, if you ever have another question, it's right here on the back of the label. 1 scoop for every 2 ounces. So they're sitting down, they get some food like delivered DoorDash or something, and Tanice starts to say that she feels that JoJo doesn't help out as much with the baby. She doesn't think they talk as much now since the baby has been born. They now have 2 kids. JoJo has his record label. I think that's what he does. And, Tanice is just kind of feeling stressed. She wants JoJo to go back to how he was when they first had their daughter Mia, and how he was super hands-on that first year, but then he started to get he started to get deeper into his career, and he stopped helping out as much. She doesn't want to have to put her career on the back burner like she had to do before, because she felt that's not fair to her. She wants JoJo to step up. JoJo gets all loud in typical JoJo fashion, and he tells, put the cameras down, put the cameras down. I want to have a private moment. We are filming a reality show. Nothing that y'all were discussing called for them to put the cameras down. You weren't talking about financials. You weren't talking about anything like that. You're talking about the fact that she's saying she wants you to step your ass up and help out more. That's all that they were talking about in this moment. So Tanice just kind of tells him, I need you to step up. JoJo feels that she is painting him in a light to make it seem like he does not step up and help out at all. And she's like, no, I just want you to help. He tells her, let me know when you need help, and I got you. She's like, now. I need help now. So JoJo wants to call the baby JoJo Light because he said that he looks just like a light skinned version of him. He's a very adorable baby. So Angela comes over to see the baby. I cringed because Angela walked right in that house. She didn't wash her hands. She didn't have a mask on. This is a new baby. We are in a pandemic. Y'all don't wash your hands before y'all come in the house no more? TV or not. So Angela is talking to them about moving. Apparently, Denise and JoJo knew she was moving. So maybe it was just Vanessa that was on the outs. JoJo asks where Vanessa is. Angela's like, I don't know. I guess she's on her way. Vanessa comes a few moments later, which kind of made me feel like they pulled up at the same time, and Angela like ran up the stairs. So Vanessa comes in, and Angela kind of like made a face as if she really didn't want Vanessa there for some reason. It's just a very, very weird dynamic with them. But we all know Angela don't see it for Vanessa. Vanessa really wants that close sister bond. I think Vanessa is kind of lonely out in LA. You know, she's been dating that Wayans, one of the Wayans kids for years now, but there's no other family really out there with her. I don't know where JoJo lives. I feel like every season JoJo is in like a different townhouse or like a different apartment in a different state. So who knows where JoJo lives. So Angela brings up the fact that Cree is in town. So I'm gonna assume it's maybe they're in New York. I'm gonna assume they're in New York. And she said that Cree is in town, and if you guys talking about Tanice and Vanessa, if you guys want to get together, we can all go out, have some drinks, just kind of chill out for a moment. So we get this bonus scene where Vanessa and Cree are at Angela's condo in Miami, helping her pack up. And Vanessa asks if she's going to reconnect with Bow Wow while she's in Atlanta. Angela likes to make it seem like she don't like him and all this other stuff. She says she's going to use a matchmaker. You tell them the specifications that you want in the guy, from aesthetics to everything else. And from there, they line up eligible bachelors for you. So we get to the rooftop. All right. So all the girls are out on the rooftop. Tahira, Vanessa, Angela, Cree, and Tanice. So Angela says that she wasn't planning on moving. It just happened. Support system for SJ. Yada yada yada. Cree walks up. Tahira doesn't look excited that Cree is there, but she doesn't look like disgusted that Cree is there either. Cree, however, comes in hot and heavy, y'all. So she comes in super bad energy, super weird vibes. She kept saying, I didn't know she would be here. I didn't know she would be here. I didn't know she, like, talking about TT. And everybody is looking like, what is the problem? So, t- um, Tahira was like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be here either, but it's fine. So Cree is like, we need to have a conversation because this has to be addressed. Vanessa jumps up and runs. I don't do drama. I don't do drama. And it's like, Vanessa, what are you going to do on The Housewives? What are you going to do when you guys are at a group dinner and they get to fighting and cussing? How are you going to handle that? Because Andy is not going to let your ass get up and walk off that scene. Angela only has the pull that she has now, where she's able to dictate who she wants to film with and who she doesn't, when there is a producer, because she is the executive producer of the show. This is her show. So Angela gets up, walks off. The camera crew follows her. She's like, I'm just going to get a bottle. No, no, no. You weren't just going to get a bottle. You were running from the scene as you typically do, like the first couple seasons where she would run whenever Brianna came onto a scene. So Tanice is like, I'll give y'all 5 minutes. So Vanessa is like, what the hell is going on? She's confused. Cree says that there are 3 things you don't mess with. And I hate when people do these, but 3 things you don't mess with: her business, her money, and her family. So she said that TT made her seem unprofessional because she said on film that that Cree was no longer planning her wedding. She was like, because the real issue was your family. And then it goes into, you talk about Sam in Egypt, but you live in a house that your mom owns, and you bully Sam in Egypt, and you were talking about their finances on screen and all this other stuff. And Vanessa said, I'm going to interject because that's not true. Sam in Egypt bullied her and brought her family into it and tried to go against them. So while Vanessa is trying to explain that as an impartial third person, Cree like cuts her off and was like, well, you were dragging my business and you can't bully me. I'm not Savannah. And I'm like naming all these different people. And to hear us like, what are you talking about? I will say this: TC does have a tendency to say and do things and then act like she didn't do anything wrong. So in the whole Sam and Egypt situation, it was more so Sam and Egypt against Tahira, but Tahira also did say and do some things on camera that kept that argument situation, whatever you want to call it, that did keep that fuel, that keep the fuel in that fire. She absolutely did. So TT was like, I didn't say anything about you. I didn't talk negatively about you or anything about your business. I simply said you would not be planning my wedding. So Cree is like, well, you're not going to make me look unprofessional, when Cree is acting like she didn't make herself look unprofessional. Cree did a number of things last season that made herself look unprofessional. One of them was how she talked to Twist at that event she did for JoJo and Tanice. Granted, Twist was in the wrong, but a lot of that was the way that she talked about what he was wearing because when he came to the event and all that other stuff. Cree made herself look bad because Cree was kind of going around and gossiping. But after watching last season, no one said, oh, I would never let Cree throw my event. No one thought that because we didn't see you do anything wrong and no one made you out to look like you were being completely unprofessional. So I think Cree is like just reaching for a storyline. And it's like, you didn't even have to do all this. So then Cree gets mad because she looks stupid because you're arguing with yourself because TT was like, girl, I'm not going to argue with you about this. I don't even have the problem with you. So Cree gets up and walks off. And it's like, Cree, you doing too much. You're doing way too much. And the fact that you haven't been around these people, you can't come in and say, oh, you're bullying Sam in Egypt when she has been on Twitter being big Twitter figures talking shit about TT last season. So I'm not understanding that, but Cree, girl, this is not a good look for you. This is just not a good look. Like you could have handled that a whole lot better and in a classier way. So the final scene is Egypt meeting with Treach and his wife Cicely. So Egypt's hair looks like shit. It looks absolutely terrible. It looks absolutely terrible. The childish, tacky, designs and shit inside. The lines weren't clean, but okay, girl. So they give her an MCM, like a little mini backpack for her birthday. They ask her what's going on. How are things going? She said, great. She moved out of Pep's house and they're still in Vegas, but they got their own spot kind of about 20 minutes away. What gets me is like, how don't you tell your father you're moving? So what if Tresh was in town and wanted to like come by your house? I thought that was very, very weird. I that was weird to me. So Egypt is like, her and Sam are both amateur fighters now, and the way I rolled my eyes. Why are you whatever. And then she said that she's been still working on music and now she wants to get new headshots so that she can get into acting because that is also something that she has been very interested in. Trey said the state penitentiary has headshots. I said, ooh, shots fired. Shots fired. So he was like, so let's talk about the other headshot you haven't told me about, referring to the fight. Egypt said, the world has a lot of darkness and it's coming for the light. We are the light. And I said, Egypt, stop this bullshit right now. Stop it. And Treach was over it. So Treach was like, what's going on? What happened? Where is Sam at now? Egypt said he's back home. Treach said, is he out on bail? Which he is, so which means that he probably was not able to travel to LA. So she said he's back, he's out on bail, but some things have come up and it's looking really, really good for him. So Tresh was like, is jail looking good? Jail is looking good for him? Great. So Tresh is like, what happened? Because what I heard from you and what I heard from Tyrone are two totally different stories. So Egypt said that whatever Tyrone said is not the truth, and it's been a game of telephone. And I'm like, Tyrone just don't look like the type that's gonna lie just for the hell of it. He doesn't give that vibe off. So Trisha's wife is like, well, the story that Tyrone told is different than the one that you told. So Egypt said they were both out on the strip, right? And they had too many drinks. And Church was like, too many drinks, too many drinks. Okay, so y'all was drunk, got that. Egypt said a group of guys started to surround Sam. So Treach kept saying was a gun involved, and Egypt is like ignoring that. So Treach is like, did the other guys pull out a gun? Egypt once again ignores it and tries to make it seem like they were just out there and Sam got jumped. So Trey said, you aren't telling me the whole story. You're basically lying to my face. Like, I'm not getting the full thing. The entire time, Egypt's looking down. She's looking down. She's not really making eye contact. So it's clear that she's lying. It's very, very clear that she's lying. So Treach goes outside, has to have a cigarette. He needs a nicotine fix because he is stressed about this right now. So Egypt is talking to Treach's wife, and she's stuttering. It's like I'm telling the truth, and which is another clue that somebody is lying when they're stuttering. So Church comes back in, and Egypt said that she wasn't really aware of what was going on because she was in and out. So you were that damn drunk that you don't know what happened, Egypt. You don't know what happened. So Trech said, look, y'all are young, y'all are black. It takes nothing for a cop to shoot you. It takes nothing for a cop to consider you as threatening. Y'all can't be out there getting that drunk and then doing stupid shit like this. Church also said, I cannot help you. I can't help you if you guys don't tell me the truth about what is going on. I have to know everything that's going on. I have to know the truth. But if you're going to keep out bits and pieces of a story, it's going to be hard for me to not only trust and start believing anything you ever say, but it's going to be very hard for me to help you in the long run, which is true. But that was growing up hip hop. It was I think it was a strong season opener. If you are brand new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next.